If you run mobile game user acquisition and you've studied Gossip Harbor's creative strategy, you already know its ads look nothing like the merge game they are actually selling. You scroll your feed and a woman is freezing inside a collapsing house, and 50 seconds later, you still have not watched a single tile get merged. That game has pulled $677 million in lifetime revenue, and the creative is doing the selling, not the gameplay. This video breaks down the exact formula behind those ads so you can build your own version instead of guessing. There are 4 moves and they always run in the same order. The crisis hook that opens the ad, the character you end up wanting to protect, the runtime that ignores every rule about mobile ad length, and the ending that refuses to give you closure. It starts with the crisis hook because the first 3 seconds decide whether anyone stays. The crisis hook is the part most studios get wrong. Their instinct is to open on the product, the satisfying merge, the clean board, the reward. Gossip Harbor opens on a disaster instead. When Segwise tagged the creative elements across its top ads, every single one opened on a family in some kind of hardship. Before a viewer knows the game exists, there is a mother, a child, and a situation that is falling apart. That matters because a person scrolling a feed will not stop for a game board, but they will stop for someone in trouble. The specific trouble is chosen on purpose too. More than 8 in 10 of the ads use physical suffering you can feel through the screen. A family exposed to cold, a house that no longer keeps the weather out. You are not being sold a mechanic in those 3 seconds. You are being handed a problem and quietly asked whether you are going to help. And the person you are being asked to help is picked just as carefully as the crisis, which is the second move. The character is the reason the crisis lands instead of sliding past. A generic victim gets scrolled. Gossip Harbor puts a specific kind of person in front of you, and 2 out of 3 ads lead with a mother or a daughter in the opening hook. That is a deliberate choice, because those 2 figures trigger a protective response faster than almost anyone else you could cast. When you see a mother struggling to keep her kids warm, you are not evaluating an ad anymore, you are reacting to a person. The studio also rotates who carries that weight across its creatives. Sometimes a young girl, sometimes a middle-aged mother, so the same emotional pull gets tested against different faces without the feeling itself ever changing. The crisis gives you a problem, and the character gives you a reason to care about it. Now the ad has to hold you long enough to turn that feeling into a download, and that is where it breaks the rule everyone else follows. Every playbook tells you to keep a mobile ad short, get to the value in the first few seconds, and never test a viewer's patience. Gossip Harbor does the opposite on purpose. 9 out of 10 of its top ads run past 50 seconds, and the ones that perform best sit in a narrow band between 54 and 58. That length would kill a normal ad, and it works here for one reason. A short ad cannot build an emotional arc, and the emotional arc is the entire product being sold. Those extra seconds are not filler, they are the time it takes to make you care about the mother, understand what she is up against, and start hoping it works out. The structure inside that runtime is consistent. It establishes the crisis, shows the game as the way out of it, then pulls the resolution just out of reach. Which brings you to the last move, and the one that actually drives the install. The ending is where most advertisers reach for relief. The happy resolution, the problem solved, the reward delivered. Gossip Harbor withholds it. 2 out of 3 of its ads end on continued suffering rather than a rescue. And that is not a mistake, it is the mechanism. There is a well-documented quirk in how memory works, where an unfinished task stays lodged in your head far longer than a completed one. An ad that resolves lets you forget it the moment you scroll. An ad that leaves the mother still in trouble follows you. And the only way to close the loop is to open the game and finish the rescue yourself. This is not a small edge either. Across the top-performing mobile game ads of 2026, more than 8 in 10 now end on either a direct challenge to the viewer or a deliberately unresolved story, which means the thing Gossip Harbor was doing early became the category standard. The formula is clear once you see it laid out. The hard part is knowing whether any of it is true for your game, and that is a different problem entirely. Here is what makes this formula dangerous to copy blind. What works for a merge game aimed at Turkish and Italian audiences is not automatically what works for your title, your genre, or your players. Cold and collapsing houses are Gossip Harbor's emotional architecture, and yours might be something completely different. The only way to know is to tag your own creatives the way this teardown tagged theirs and read which emotional elements actually move your installs. That is a job Segwise does. Its creative tagging agent uses multimodal AI to tag every element in a creative, The character, the hook line, the on-screen text, the audio tone, the pacing, even inside a playable ad, which it is the only platform that can tag. Every tag gets mapped to your real performance, so you can see whether your protective character is pulling weight or whether your crisis hook is the thing driving your cost per install down. Then, its creative strategy agent lets you just ask in plain language which emotional elements your winners share, and its creative generation agent turns those winning patterns into net new creatives you can test. The whole point is that you stop borrowing another studio's formula and start reading your own. So the one change worth making is this. Stop judging your creatives by the surface metrics, the CPI and the CTR alone, and start tracking the emotional architecture underneath them, the crisis, the character, the arc, the ending. That is where Gossip Harbor's revenue actually came from, and it is invisible on a standard dashboard. Tag those elements against your own performance, and you will know which parts of this formula are yours to keep. You can start analyzing your own creatives for free at segwise.ai.